Today on the program, we've got a couple of issues to x-ray, analyze, talk about, dissect if you like. And as usual, we have a segment where you can also call and be part of the conversation this beautiful Saturday morning. My name is Sonny Duke, of course, your host on the program. First, let's meet our panelists for today. Let me begin quickly by recognizing the presence of the former Provost Marshal of the Nigerian Army, former head of the Legal Services Department of the Nigerian Army. He's also been involved in very serious cases, both for and against the government. I'd like to thank very especially General Idada Ikmowe, retired. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
It's my pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice to be with you, esteemed viewers.
Thank you so much. We also have with us a notary public, a constitutional lawyer, a public affairs commentator. I'd like to thank very especially Sir Adams Aliu. Many thanks for joining us on the program.
Thank you, moderator. Good day, viewers.
Okay, our start-up point on our conversation today on the program is the issues coming forth in the Presidential Election Tribunal. The major issue is about the head of the Presidential Election Tribunal, Honorable Justice Zainab Adamu Bulkachuwa. The thinking is that the fact that her husband is a senator-elect waiting to be sworn in means that to a large extent she's probably going to compromise in that position as the head of the Presidential Election Tribunal. We'll look at that today on the program. We also will take your opinions, your views and perspectives in the course of the program. The burgeoning problem of insecurity in the country and the level of response by security agents and of course the political will displayed so far by the government of the day is also a major issue for discussion this lovely Saturday morning. Finally, if time permits, I'm sure time will permit us to climax the show with a short expose on the recent visit by His Excellency Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawa Igbeneghu, CFR, the Isma of Benin, to the Governor of Edo State, Godwin Nogegase Obaseki. Of course, that's been having some ripple effects politically and otherwise in the state and beyond in recent times. The visit will tell you more about it in the course of the program. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for coming on the show. Let's just now get started with the issues surrounding with the Presidential Election Tribunal as constituted by the judiciary, the Department of Judiciary, so to speak. And then at some point, the President of the Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice Zainab Adamu Mohammed Bulkachuwa, made herself the head of that tribunal. But the reactions that have greeted that is overwhelming in recent times. But let's begin from the basics. Let me get Barrister Amsaliu. He has a way of bringing history into some of these discussions. Maybe he can take us down memory lane.
No history, yes, no future.
No history, no future. That's the word. That's the word. So, Barrister Amsaliu, let's get some historical perspectives on
I
this.
believe much in the judiciary as an arbitrator in times of confusion and uncertainty.
Okay.
As far back as 1979, Chief Abafemi Awolowo went to court over presidential election with Shagari. So has it been subsequently. Even the president, head of state, was in court 3 times every 4 years. So that a presidential candidate who loses an election goes to court is not nouveau. That is to begin with. Now coming to the recent death you highlighted, that Zainab Bulkachuwa is related, the husband will be senator here and there. Constitutionally, all men are equal before the law. The lady is a fit and proper person, can be given any position at any time. Once you're in government job, they will write it as part of your letter of employment, and all other jobs that will be assigned to you from time to time. She did not make herself the president of the Electoral Commission Tribunal. He was appointed. So it will be presumptive, preemptive, prejudicial, mala fide, as in bad faith, to prejudge what will be the outcome of the election, or thinking that because of a sanguinary or matrimonial relationship, the husband as a would-be senator, her judgment will be tangential and influential. They are all speculative and presumptive. Remember too that she will not be the only one in the panel. There are about 3 other people. Okay. And in a democracy, majority always rule. Those days, we used to have minority reports when the court had given it only a minority counsel. Yeah. So he who comes to equity must come with clean hands. And it will even be sub judice, that's under the duty of the court, to start to preempt, analyze, prejudge, try to be sentimental and forecasting what will be the result of the election.
Okay, of course, that is not the intention of this conversation, to prejudge or to preempt the outcome. Not at all.
She's a fit and proper person.
Yes, so we're looking at the reactions that have trailed her heading the tribunal.
They are just bitter. They are, by the way,
okay.
They are not the voice of the people. The voice of the people were not those that appointed her. Okay. So people should come with open hands and allow the panel to do its job.
All right, let me get General Idada. Is by the way is also a lawyer, barrister at law. Yes. What are your perspectives? Yes.
I'm glad that you have brought my friend.
Looks like you've been looking forward to having him on the platform. One-on-one, yeah. Okay.
And I'm always impressed with the historical background he always brings to issues. Okay. But incidentally, in this particular matter, I don't think he has gone too far into history of the evolution of certain legal concepts that are applied in Britain and are applying in Nigeria and all civilized civil law societies. I am talking about the rule of natural justice, with the 2 arms of nemo judex in causa sua, meaning that no man should be a judge in his own case, and the other arm being audi otarum partem. You must hear the other party. These are natural justice principles that are superior to national constitutions. They have evolved over the years. And in particular, I want to mention the issue of the rule against bias, as enunciated by Justice Hayward in this very classical case of Dimes and the Grand Junction Canal in England, where Lord Hayward said that it is of utmost importance not just that justice is done, but that it must be seen to be done. Okay. That case further enunciated that in issue of bias, there could be pecuniary bias, there could be personal bias. I want to talk about the very well-known theory and philosophy that no man can be expected to give a judgment against his own interest. And what is your interest? Now, the case here is about whether or not Justice Bulkachuwa is right and proper person to preside over this presidential election.
Tribunal.
In the presidential tribunal. Yeah. Don't forget the problems we have had over presidential election in recent past, and that so many people even died in the process of the election. Don't forget how Nigerians take the issue of elections and the resultant tribunal pronouncement, accusations and lack of approbation. All these are bound to follow. We are in a very delicate state of affairs. Nigeria must be very careful. Government's hand must not be seen, in a manner that it could be read that they want to achieve predetermined results. Now, what am I talking about? Justice Bulkachuwa, her husband is a senator-elect under the PDP.
Under the APC.
Under the APC. What I want to now take you back to the issue of bias, and that in deciding the issue of bias, you do not necessarily prove bias. What is important is there a likelihood of bias from the totality of everything? And let us not forget that we are running a constitution that is based on social justice, where the judiciary and administration of justice is supposed to be in the courts of the land that are independent, impartial, and full of integrity. Anything that will impact on the integrity negatively of a judge must be avoided. Anything that will point to impartiality must be avoided. I emphasize that the proof of bias is unnecessary. What is important is that is there any likelihood that this person can be biased? Let me also add that the whole concept of the rule against bias and about the principles on which the courts operate is public confidence.
Okay.
If public confidence is going to be
eroded in this year,
affected, then that judge needs to
in a nutshell,
advise
you're saying that she is not a fit and proper person to preside over the presidential election.
She is the president of the Court of Appeal, all right.
Yes.
It's a duty to appoint a person, and they have more than 80 judges in the Court of Appeal. It's a duty to appoint a person, but she appointed herself. Having appointed herself, she ought to have advised herself, is this matter a matter in which there will be no problem arising from accusation of bias, because this issue of bias is already making the rounds.
Okay, but Mr. Adams, you've been itching to say something. The point I want to raise here is that, for more indication, Honorable Justice Zaina Bulkachuwa is the president of the Court of Appeal, and just like General Dada Ibonwe said, she has a choice to either appoint herself or appoint someone else to head that. But does the Constitution provide for that? In any case, nobody, I believe, anticipated that her husband would be senator-elect. I'm sure if her husband wasn't senator-elect, maybe this issue wouldn't have been there. So what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are guided by the Constitution, the Constitution and lawyer. There is no demarcation as to which case Justice Bulkachuwa can handle, which case she cannot handle. People should have open minds. A judge is an epitome of the court, and it will be prejudicial, presumptive, preemptive, sentimentally flabby to assume as if it's a game of drafts that if I play to the left, this one plays to the right, I will go to crown. It's not like that. So he has handled many other cases, and as you said, that her husband is now a senator-elect. It's a circumstantial byproduct of an anomalous situation. It was not anticipated. If we try to be sentimental, we now go to the marketplace to organize a referendum or a plebiscite to ask them, which judge do you want to preside over this case? It is not done like that. Let us come to equity with clean hands. The judge has handled other similar sensitive cases, and who even told people that a presidential election cannot be overturned. It was overturned in Ghana. It was overturned in East Africa. Even here in Nigeria, gubernatorial election results have been overturned. 2008, I was in the legal team of Kombino Shomole that took Professor Sumbo victory to court. And the court upturned it. So and many other places. So people should have open mind. I will not be party to sentiments, prejudice, presumption, and assumption.
You have said all that.
Okay.
Yes,
Let me round up that issue.
Yes.
Honestly, with very due respect for my friends, I want to say emphatically that he is not talking the Constitution. He is not talking the law. A constitution that talks about lack of bias, lack of prejudice, independence, impartiality.
And outlined.
Listen,
Just hold on.
can I talk? It's clearly, obviously, and manifestly aware of this type of problem. This is not the first time it's happening. That's why I referred us to the English situation. When a judge was to pronounce upon a case against a company, involving a company where he had pecuniary interests, it was opposed by the opposing party. And the matter went to the House of Lords. What did the House of Lords say? The House of Lords said that nobody could have accused Lord Cottenham of bias because he's a man of great integrity. But the House of Lords said, it is of utmost importance that not only should there be absence of bias, but there must be no likelihood of bias. These are all part of our law. Whether it is not a question of market game or people going to canvass support. The justices of the Supreme Court, the justices of the Court of Appeal, all lawyers are all aware of these doctrines and these cases which we use in our system.
Which is true.
The rule against bias bars this honorable justice from sitting over this case. She is not, can I finish? When she is not the only judge in the Court of Appeal, and when her duty is to appoint a committee, of a panel of justices to sit over the matter. It is very, very unexpected, very, very dangerous for her to make herself the head of the panel to look into this very sensitive election matter. Okay,
Ambassador, you want to have a concluding thought on that?
Yeah. My conclusion is that I believe in what is outright stated in the Constitution.
Okay.
Statutory interpretation is always controversial, but there are not be instances where, for matters like this, we will always prejudge and assume. Luckily, my colleague contributor has said that it is not stated categorically that there is bias, but likely.
No, I didn't say so. I said the requirement is that there must be no likelihood of bias. The overall picture painted by the likelihood. Oh yes, the law is that there must be no likelihood of bias.
Likelihood means probability.
And once there is likelihood of bias, then the person must disqualify himself.
Okay. Let's get
so
started.
Likelihood here now is subjective. It has not been proved. It is presumptive. It is assumption. It's speculative. The judge could follow the law as it is, lex lata, and so we should leave it to take its normal course.
Does public perception matter in a case like this? Against the background that, of course, it's a well-known fact that the Honorable Justice is not her making in any way, that her husband is the senator-elect under the current dispensation and under the ruling party. Yes, I like to get thoughts along this line.
What happens is that marketplace voices here and there, they could have an opinion. If they like, they can put up memoranda for the panel. But there's no way the court will be subjected to obiter, to mutuaries, hearsay and outcry by people who are not legally inclined.
All right, let's get so. Let me just add something to the conversation as it relates to the position of the major opposition party in the 2019 general election. It was the People's Democratic Party letter to the President of the Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice Zainab Bulkachuwa, and they calling her to recuse herself from the panel hearing its petition challenging the declaration of President Muhammadu Buhari as winner of the February 23 presidential election by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, over alleged likelihood of bias. That seems to be the core of the matter. The party went ahead in a May 8 petition addressed to Bulkachuwa, specifically granted its petition on the fact that her husband belongs to the same political party as the president, the All Progressives Congress, the APC. The petition, which was received in our chambers, was signed by the PDP National Chairman, Prince Uche Secondus, and the National Secretary, Senator Umaru Sauri. All right, and it looks like this whole issue about likelihood of bias in the Presidential Election Tribunal will dominate the actual horse trading and debate by the councils on both sides of the divide, so long as the case lasts. And that seems to be something of great concern, that the President of the Court of Appeal, who is also the head of the Presidential Election Tribunal, her husband is in the same party with one of the parties in the case, that President Muhammadu Buhari in this instance. That seems to be the crux of the matter. Yes, Vice President.
What happens is that, to begin with,
yes,
we have 91 political parties.
Okay.
That one party have now decided, yes, to write petition to select who will be the judge is a traverse, and it's neither here nor there.
Okay.
Okay.
No, just so that we'll come to you. I'll come to you just a moment.
This is because his own candidate is the one in the election presidential tribunal. That's why the party you mentioned sort of appealed about it. And the party is whipping up sentiments, looking for roadside support, non-constitutional support, moral support, as if it can change the status quo antebellum. It is offbeat and irregular. The party you have mentioned, as well as other 90 political parties, they should allow the law to take its course.
Okay.
Very well, very well.
Yeah.
And this is the last point I'm making on this matter. I want to just say, with utmost respect to my friends, that we are not talking about market women views of writers. We are talking about the law, which makes the judge to look at the situation in which she is finding herself and to say, look, against the background that is unfolding, I will not sit to avoid any likelihood of bias. And I will say that it is not the duty of the public, it is the duty of the judge to look at what the councils before her are saying, what the public people are saying, and to say, look, I think to save this country unnecessary rigor and problem, let somebody else take over this job. It is very feasible, and it ought to be done, because like I said in my introductory remarks, what is very important in the administration of justice is that public opinion must be, public confidence must be sustained. If you are doing anything that shakes public confidence in terms of likelihood of bias and in any other form, then the whole concept of judicialism, the whole issue of a legal system based on independence, impartiality, and integrity will be eroded.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for the useful thoughts canvassed in this discussion so far. If you just join us, you're on to Politics Today on independent television and radio. Remember, you can also follow us live on our website at www.politicstoday.com. itvradio.nigeria.com/live. You can watch the program in any part of the world and across the country. Follow us live on Good TV, channel 107, and Star Times, channel 130. In a moment, our studio lines will be open, and so you can call and be part of the conversation as well. Remember, when you do call, do not cast aspersion on anyone. Go straight to the point and ensure that you are as brief as possible, because there are other people waiting on the line to make their contributions as well. All right, now let's quickly switch over to another major issue that is dominating our discussion. Well, just before that, of course, on security, we know that yesterday the Court of Appeal reinstated Oyetola as the duly elected governor of Osun State, and we heard the other party is planning to go to the Supreme Court, where many legal authors have predicted that's what's going to happen ultimately. So we just leave that at that. So let's look at Nigerian security situation. Coincidentally, we have General Idada, a soldier by profession. I mean, you've seen it all when it comes to security issues, law enforcement and all of that. Now, we have had this challenge going on, and it seems unabated. It looks like all the structured strategies put in place to mitigate the security situation in the country, they are not yielding the much desired result. Why is this so? Is it that the militants, the bandits, the Boko Haram, just name them, now have more superior firepower? This is the same Nigerian army that we know that when they go for jobs, duties, and responsibilities outside the shores of this country, they always come tops, and we get rave reviews about their performances and all that. So what is happening that it looks like we're not able to nip these problems in the bud once and for all?
Well, quite frankly, I'm not ready to go into long history on this issue, and time doesn't even permit.
Absolutely.
But let me tell you clearly that the lingering problem of Boko Haram, the issue of herdsmen and farmers clash in the Middle Belt, the problem of Niger Delta, and even our attitude to democratic principles, the IPOP problem, the people who are saying they want their own republic. These are all great problems before the government and people of Nigeria today. I must admit that at the advent of the present administration of President Buhari, he pledged to fight this insecurity in all its ramifications very seriously. And it appears that there were record progress, visible progress in the first few years. But unfortunately, it does appear now that the problem has remained unsolved. If you look at the rate, the rate of deaths, and the humanitarian problem created in the Northeast, you would definitely know that Nigeria has a serious problem. And I don't want to start taking them one by one because there's no time for it. But the truth is that.
But what I want to know is that the level of response in dealing with these issues. What's your take?
That's what I'm coming to say. I want to say that these problems are not just starting today; they have been on. But like some people have said, 3 or 4 years is enough for market change to be seen, especially by a regime that you had this thing as one of its cardinal election campaign.
Okay.
Now we are left with the question of what exactly is happening. Like you said, why would the Nigerian security system, especially the military and police that have made mark over the years in both local and foreign assignments, why is it now? Why is it now that no progress, no appreciable progress is being noted? I think the answer is more than meets the ordinary eye.
Okay.
I believe that government is yet to do to take the right measures. I believe that the people themselves are yet to key in to the whole security, the fight against insecurity. I believe that government is not only executive, it includes legislature and the judiciary.
Okay.
I think all these three arms of government must be seen to take deliberate measures that can solve and put final resolution to all the problems we have.
I'm sure that will be both at the local government, state, and the federal level. Yeah, that's the sort of collaboration.
I would definitely add that sometimes the response of government tends to create doubt in the minds of people about the seriousness of government.
All right, Adam Salu,
From my own point of view, I know that security matters. The Constitution is clear, 14.2. Security and welfare be the paramount aims of government.
Okay.
Security matters. The details, luckily a combatant regular officer here, they are not to be marketed in public. In world history, politics, European history, there have been 100 years war. There have been 30 years war, 1618 to 1648. Vietnam War, Korean War. What happens is that the average Nigerian wants automatic solution to military situation. It is not as dogmatic as it is. If the government is putting on strategies, it will not be proper to advertise it in a forum like this. So the government is aware. People in the leadership position, they know their brothers, sisters, cousins have been affected by the kidnapping and killing by henchmen. So we will not expect them to tell us the modus operandi here. And to the ordinary man, you will see that the government is not working. It is working, as I said, in world history. Wars have lasted 100 years. Wars lasted 30 years, 1680 to 1648. Vietnam War, Indo-Pakistani War, so be it. So the answer to your question directly, we will expect the general or any other in-service soldier to come outline us, look at calendar and tell us the day that the fight will end. It is not as simplistic as that. So the government is working, but it will not be advertised, the modus operandi.
Okay.
Anyway,
I think we just pause it there, General, because of time factor.
It's very important.
Okay. Okay.
Look, we are not here to say government is bad or government is good. We are doing an analysis of what is happening in the society. God forbid that the Boko Haram or the clash between herdsmen and farmers or the Niger Delta imbroglio should last for 100 years. We are talking about a system that has proved its worth over the years. And people are wondering, why is this lingering on? It will be very, very unfortunate if we want to drive home the fact that, oh yeah, government is doing the best. I'm not here to preach to preach for government. I'm not here to preach against government. I'm looking at issue as a lawyer, as a public affairs analyst, and as an elder citizen to say what I believe is inadequate in our society.
So am I.
Okay. I think that we need to adopt more measures. We need to build public confidence in the populace. These people who are doing all these damage. They are living with our people. The herdsmen, they are fighting over, herdsmen and farmers are fighting over lands and grazing lands, which the farmers need for their farming and the herdsmen need for their. So government must be able to take a decision and provide a proper answer to this.
Okay, all right, so I think we'll just leave it at that and then move to the very last point on our discussion segment today on the program before we open our studio line, 052-290-573, that you can call and be part of the discussion. Let's go to the last point. Of course, yesterday, Okada town and environs, literally agog with celebration, 20th anniversary celebration of Nigeria's first private university, Igbenedion University, Okada. As a matter of fact, the who is who in Nigeria conversed on Okada to be part of that great ceremony. Days leading to the D-Day, which was yesterday, the Honorable Chancellor of that great institution, His Excellency Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osaro Igbenedion, visited Edo State Governor, who incidentally, as you already know, is the #1 citizen of the state, to formally invite him to be part of that historic occasion. Comments were made, things were said, and of course that set social media ablaze, so to speak, with the reactions coming forward and back. Well, His Excellency did say he was satisfied with the work being done by the governor, His Excellency Godwin Obaseki. But gentlemen, let's quickly look at these issues as it were. Some have called the visit as a public endorsement of the governor for 2020 because just now that's around the corner. But we know that primarily His Excellency Chief Isama went to the governor to invite him for the 20th anniversary of Igbenedion University, Okada. Let's begin with you, Bryce Adamsali.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isama's visit to the governor is in conformity with protocol. Obviously, he could have sent a courier invitation, but his respect for administration, for governance, is sine qua non to the event. And by the time he visited the governor received him with open hands, outlined his successes in enterprises, especially in the university, and that is how it should be. No matter who is in government, the position is what is being respected. After all, his own son was a two-time governor in that very government house. So it is nothing unusual. But since tongues must work, people are interpreting this, that he has endorsed him for 2020 election, or is sympathetic. There should be no political undertone. Isama's visit to the governor was administratively okay, in conformity with protocol. That is how it is. If the governor remains #1 citizen of the state, any visiting head of state or whatever must pay the governor. And so be it. But I said, people are used to be temperamental, speculative, judgmental in anticipation. And so I will not be carried away. But this man, as an exposed person, knows protocol, knows that something cannot be happening in Edo State at Okada. He will not formally invite the first citizen of the land. So, ceteris paribus, all things are equal. No political undertone should be emerged into it.
All right, General. Yeah, is this a breach of party affiliation?
Let me start by saying that government belongs to the people.
Okay.
Because it is in the people that sovereignty resides. Anybody in government, both elected and selected, they are holding office for the benefit of the people. Therefore, you cannot ban public comments and public opinion on governmental affairs, which includes visit or no visit to governor. Having said that, I also agree that the governor is everybody's governor. And I'm not going to say that Governor Obaseki is not making impact. Because most people see at least the infrastructural impact he's making. On roads, everybody is praising him. I have no quarrel with that. But I have a quarrel with our system in Nigeria. A country where many people now say everything jaga jaga and scatter scatter. A country where people now say that there is absurdity everywhere. People decamp when they are already elected. They decamp. Nothing happens. People who have ridden on the back of political parties to get to the higher level, they change and turn. There is right to freedom of association and freedom of expression. Yeah. I won't blame anybody for moving camps. Most of when there are no clearly defined ideologies that distinguish between one party and the other. So it's a question of wherever you think it's good for you to operate, you go there. Fine. I have no quarrel with all this.
But that has nothing to do with this now. Yeah. But does it have anything to do with this?
My quarrel. I am coming now. Allow me to talk.
Okay.
I'm going to say that apart from being an elder statesman, an honorary ambassador, and a high chief of Edo State, respectable person in Esama, he is also a strong and leading party member. It is not the visit per se, but what is said and what goes on during the visit. I'm not in position to check what everybody is saying, and I don't intend to do that. But I read in some media that Esama throws his weight behind the governor. And if you are a listener, a reader, you will definitely say, is Esama now going to APC? Don't forget that Esama, as a political leader, has his own party.
Yeah.
Esama also has followers in PDP. They are all his followers because he's a leader at the highest level
of the party.
So I don't. If I were in Esama's position, I could visit the governor. I could praise him. I could tell him anything. But I would not want it to be so public, to create room for a lot of insinuations, right or wrong insinuations. I think that we need to be more careful because we should not make a nonsense of our democratic dispensation.
Okay, let's take some of the calls coming in now, just to ensure that you're also able to contribute to the conversation on all the issues that we've highlighted today. Just get your views, your perspectives on them. But as we say on the program, avoid casting aspersion on anyone. Avoid calling names. I mean, we have rules and regulations which you're very much aware. We'll be back to our last talking point, but we've got a caller in here. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name?
Good morning.
Good morning. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hello?
Hello, good morning. What's your name and where you calling from?
This is Bishop Isto from Tabubida.
Yes, Bishop Isto, go ahead. We're listening to you.
I greet all of you there.
Thank you.
And let me start by saying that the Governor Bateki, his good works have already placed him in proper perspective. Concerning 2023, they sold that to party. Bible said that one. I also want to say that there is never a time Nigeria will fight any war that will last for even 5 years. What is happening in Nigeria today, I think is handiwork of some group of disgruntled elements in society. They haven't said that one. I think we have a problem with leadership. When the president came on board, he started very well with Boko Haram. There was no saying that fact. But the moment the issue of herdsmen came up, the way it was handled by the same Mr. President, that one gave room for the Boko Haram that were hitherto sleeping to wake up from their slumbers. And that is the time they came up again to start mayhem on the people. So I think the best bet is for Mr. President. So first of all, look at it.
All right, Bishop Bissell, thank you. Thank you for your contribution. Yes, thank you. Hello, caller, good morning. Hello, caller, good morning. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from. Let's get your thoughts. Please endeavor to turn down the audio level on your radio or television to remove the echo. Hello, good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from, so we can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, this is calling from Bulkachuwa.
Yes, go ahead. Just come closer a little bit. Yeah, come closer a little bit so we can hear you.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please. Yes, go ahead.
Am I on to ITV?
You are live on Politics Today. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to say something concerning this issue you guys are discussing about.
Go ahead.
Kudos to the two gentlemen over there. In regard to this Boko Haram issue, I want to speak on that, and I want to talk about the Fulani headline going on right now. You see, in the issue of Boko Haram, I can equally say I will not give credit to this current government, because at the beginning, when they were coming on board, that was the major campaign, or just call it manifesto. They said they were coming to crush Boko Haram. And I can equally tell you that when they came on board, there was this, although I don't want to mention names anyway, this issue of the party talking about they have crushed Boko Haram, they have done this. So it was like a propaganda. So they were not taking this so serious.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, now, this particular Boko Haram now has finally developed points. And as I speak now, it's not so easy. Then going back to the Fulani Headsmen now, the way and manner the presidency was tackling it was a problem. Just imagine what happened in Benue State. It happened and there was no presidential visit. There was no statement from the president. Now, since the president and the party, they were one-sided. So that is the problem. All right, let us put it out of hand now. We are running here and there.
All right. We just want to say thank you for your views. Like we said, try to stay on course on the issue so we can ensure that everyone is well carried along in the course of the discussion. 052-290-573 is our studio line. Call that number now and let's get your thoughts. Hello, caller. Good morning. Yes, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This advocate, I'm calling from Igwebe.
You're calling from where? Igwebe. Okay, please go ahead.
I'm calling from Igwebe.
Go ahead. I can hear you loud and clear.
Yes. I think I have to salute General Idadai Kome. As he rightly said, he said it's not for the government, neither is he against the government. He has spoken the mind of the public, and that is the perception of the public. Because that Bulkachuwa should not be in that position. He should rather appoint another person. Because already the credibility of the judiciary is already in doubt to the removal of Justice Onoge. You can see things are not going on the way it is expected. Thank you.
All right, thank you, caller. We'll take just one more call, and that will be it on the phone-in segment of the program. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning, sir. This is Alaji. I'm calling you from Igara.
Okay, from Igara. Please go ahead.
Yes. I want to comment on the judge of the appeal court. Is it a crime now in Nigeria that if your person is in position, your relations cannot get anything? That is what I want to tell the public. We should be able to trust people we put in position. If we not desire the people to the trust, then it means that Nigeria is finished. Let us all trust that the judge there will do the justice that he's supposed to do there. And not people that here and saying that he's going to be biased, going to be elements of bias. Why do we have elements of bias in our system? It is wrong.
All right, thank you. That's as much we can take on the phone segment just before we wrap up now. Now, just to establish the purpose of the visit and then, of course, the comments made. But General Idadai Kome retired is a party man. He feels differently in terms of what was said and what was not said.
I'm not a party man here.
Okay, but he's not a party man here. That's a statement of fact.
I'm talking
I want to say big thanks to our panelists for the thoughts shared on the program and the way they have expressed themselves. Like we always say, views expressed here are entirely those of the ones expressing them. They are not the views of the station as a matter of fact. I want to say big thanks to everyone that made the program a huge success, and that includes you, Adam Jenna, and that many thanks for coming on the program. One last word from you before we go.
Well, what I should say by way of conclusion is that we want the best for this country.
Okay.
We want that our democratic values should be seen to be as perfect as they can possibly be. We want to see that our legal processes, our legal system evokes confidence of the people. We don't want the judiciary to be trampled upon or to be distrusted. Against the background of what has been happening in recent times, I think government and the judiciary in particular must be very careful about the way they handled this election tribunal, because it can cause serious crisis if the people do not feel that the right thing being done.
All right,
well, from my side, I'm an optimist. I agree with my co-debater.
No, discussant.
Discussant.
So you're not here to debate.
We want the best for this country.
Yeah.
But my fellow countrymen should not be judgmental. They should not be temperamental. They should not be sentimental. They should come to equity with clean hands. Allow law and justice to take its course. Not need to be judicial, presumptive, always anticipatory in the negative form.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time with us on the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. We teed off, as they say in golf, with the issue about the head of the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal, Honorable Justice Zainab Muhammad Bulkachuwa, whose husband is also a senator-elect, and that has brought the question of likelihood of bias as expressed by the major opposition party, the People's Democratic Party. But someone has said in a calling today on the program, are we saying that because somebody is heading a position, a relation of that person can't get an appointment? We're just making it open to you. We went ahead to look at the issue of insecurity, where Nigerians, particularly security agents, have done tremendously well, both locally and internationally, and they've gotten several awards in that direction. But today, it looks like the challenge is growing in monumental proportion, even though efforts are being made to eradicate them. We want to see those efforts yield results within the shortest possible time to reduce the kidnapping, to reduce the militancy, to reduce attacks by herdsmen, and what have you. Of course, the visit by His Excellency Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Igbeneghu to the governor to formally invite him for the just concluded 20th anniversary of Igbeneghu University, Okada. Some has dubbed that as an endorsement of the governor for 2020. Whatever side that you belong to, whatever perspective that you have, but one thing is certain, the Esama is another statesman, and the father to all is someone who has that latitude to do things of this nature as a respect, as a mark of honor to the governor. Whatever political coloration or interpretation that you give to it is a matter for another day. Big thanks to you for staying with us. My name is Sonny Duke Okosun, signing out.